In this episode, we speak to Alan Austen, the actor that played multiple characters in The Empire Strikes Back.
It's one of the greatest movies of all time, and he played multiple characters in this movie?
Multiple characters in The Empire Strikes Back, plus some other very special movies. Wait until you hear these.
Oh, I can't wait for this. Let's do this.
JAK in the Box.
What's in the box? This one came all the way from the UK. Pop this over to DB. What do we got?
All right, well, let's see here. We got, oh, looks like Star Wars something right here. Got all these original 65 action figures on the back.
We got an action figure.
Alan Austen, Imperial Stormtrooper from The Empire Strikes Back.
It's an Alan Austen action figure. How cool is that?
This is the guy we're talking to later today, right?
This is the guy we have a conversation with later today.
That's cool.
In fact, check out that conversation right now.
Nice.
All right, well, here we are again with a very special guest with us. Your name is Alan Austen. Can you please share with our audience, how would we know you, Alan? What is your significance?
Well, apart from being an actor for 25 years of my life, the significant thing is that I was in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Is that your very first one is the one that's remembered by everybody. So, you know, there you go.
That is very strange, but I have heard the expression, you always remember your first. So this definitely applies for you in Empire Strikes Back.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
How did you even first get the role? Did you have to audition for the role, or did somebody just come to you? How did this happen?
It was so easy.
All too easy.
Can you be at L Street tomorrow at 6 a.m? Film called The Empire Strikes Back. You're booked for 2 days. And 2 days turned into a couple of weeks, and a couple of weeks turned into a couple of months. And yeah, I mean, I was 5 different characters on the film.
5 different characters on the movie, Alan. Oh my, okay, let me stop you for one moment here and try to take all this in. You get down there, you find out, hey, this is actually the sequel to Star Wars. What was that, when you first realized that you were going to be in the sequel to Star Wars, what was your initial thought about that?
Well, I was quite blown away, to be honest. You know, I hadn't actually seen Star Wars, I'll be quite honest about that. I mean, it was one of those films that I wanted to go and see, but I didn't quite get around to it. 2 years after the release of the original film, that obviously I knew what Star Wars was all about. I'd seen so many clips on TV and...
Star Wars, rated PG.
And so, yeah, it was a lot of excitement, but, you know, you're sort of fed on a need-to-know basis, you know. And then they dressed me as a Hoth rebel, and we did those scenes on Hoth, and it just continued from there, really.
Hoth Rebel, were you out, so you were on one of the sets, like in like the big hangar set?
Yeah.
Where, like the speeders are?
Yeah, was the Echo base set, and that's where we were, you know.
The first transport is away.
And let me also ask you, so you weren't a fan of the movie. You hadn't even seen Star Wars when you got cast in the sequel for it, but surely some of your friends or family had been fans and seen the movie. What was their reaction when you told them that you were in the new Star Wars movie?
My family were very excited and pleased for me. Mixed reaction from friends at the time.
No. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
What do you mean a mixed reaction? What does that mean exactly?
I'd say range from either complete indifference, jealousy, you know, but there was no one, certainly friends I had at that time, no one was rooting for me.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah. I can guarantee you DB and I would have been rooting for you. There would have been underlying jealousy as well, but we wouldn't have made that apparent to you. But yeah, we would have definitely been supportive of this. This is awesome, Alan. And then what was the mood on the set? Obviously, this was the second movie. We've had an opportunity to talk to like Laurie Good and Nick Joseph. They were in the original Star Wars movie. They had no idea what the movie was or what it was going to be. For you, being on the sequel, what was the mood on the set? Did people take it pretty seriously, or was it lighthearted? What was that mood like?
Well, this depended on the individual, really. For me, because it was my first film, and because, you know, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, were already famous by this time because of A New Hope. And the fact that I actually built up quite a rapport with all three of them made the film more exciting. But the thing that stands out for me really, I was making new friends.
Now, so you're saying that you were in Echo Base, and from what I understand, there was a scene in Echo Base where there was actually some Wampas that came and attacked the rebels before the Imperials got there. They're able to kind of keep them into like a closed door or something, and eventually C-3PO releases them. Were you there for all that shooting of that deleted scene that we never saw?
Well, I was, but in fact, by this time, for that scene, they dressed me up as a snowtrooper.
Okay.
So we were snowtroopers for 2 days. And as you say, it was deleted. But yeah, so I wasn't, for that actual scene, I wasn't a rebel, I was a snowtrooper.
That is awesome. So were you a snowtrooper then, not only in the deleted scene, but then also when Darth Vader and the Imperial snowtroopers come in to find Han Solo and they're setting up the cannon to shoot him? Are you in that scene as well?
Yeah, I'm in that scene. Yeah.
That is so awesome. What was it like to have, I have one of my original Imperial snowtroopers here. What was it like to have this costume on? I mean, it looks like the helmets were very large and kind of bulky. Were you able to see okay? What was going on?
No, we could barely see out of them. We could barely see out of them. So consequently, in the scene where the cannon's being set up, we're following Darth Vader past the cannon. Somebody stepped on Darth Vader's cloak, Dave Prowse, I should say, cut, reset, because we could barely see anything. And there's the scene where, in the deleted scene, there's a bunch of us falling all over each other. I've got a photograph of it. I'm on the floor, and I've ended up on the floor with John Mogridge teetering over me. So, that's a really popular photograph. But yeah, it's a deleted scene, and it was an accident,
Oh, you weren't supposed to end up on the ground like that?
No, but keep going, but we could barely see a thing. There was this loud bang. We've all crashed into each other, and I certainly went through the polystyrene and ended up on the floor.
Amazing. Wow, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing these stories with us. Now, you mentioned Irving. That's Irving Kershner, the director of Empire Strikes Back. He was there for all your scenes. Was he the one that was actually giving you the directions, before each scene was shot? Was it him giving you the directions?
On occasion, yeah, he'd have the megaphone and be, on occasion. But most of our directions came down through the assistant directors.
And then how about George Lucas? It was his story, his baby. He didn't direct this one, but was he on the set? Did you ever get a chance to interact with him or see him?
Yeah, often. He was often on set. Yeah. Often, and he'd say hello, but he was basically, there. He was taking photographs a lot of the time.
Interesting. And so what do you think his actual role on the set was? Obviously, he was kind of, documenting everything with these photographs that he was taking, but was he and Irving, and, were they kind of collaborating together and saying, oh, I kind of want to shoot this way or that? And he was. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they were often in conversation with each other, and it was a collaboration.
Absolutely. That's so interesting to hear, and happy to hear that that's the way that it went as well. And then, so not only are you in the beginning of the movie, which, I have to just tell you really quickly here, Empire Strikes Back, for me, is not just one of my favorite Star Wars movies, but really one of my favorite movies of all time. I was a late 6 years old when I first saw it with my family, and it's an experience that I can still remember very, very clearly, going opening day to see Empire Strikes Back. So this is just very, very special to me, Alan. Thank you so much for doing it. Not only were you in the scene at the beginning in Echo Base, but then you were in some later scenes as well. I think actually when we get to Cloud City or Bespin, weren't some of this there as well?
Cloud City, I was a stormtrooper predominantly, but because we'd done the photo shoot as Bespins with Billy D, they dressed me as a Bespin for some scenes in Cloud City. Mostly a stormtrooper in those on Cloud City.
And in Cloud City, then, what scenes were you a stormtrooper? I know there's quite a few different scenes happening where stormtroopers are. Where were you, or were you in all of them?
Yeah, pretty much. I was one of the stormtroopers that that chase after Han and Leia and capture Leia. In fact, I mean, have you ever seen the laughing Carrie photograph where she's pictured with two stormtroopers and she's laughing? Well, I'm one of the stormtroopers in that photograph.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow,
you know,
amazing.
And was that just a publicity shot? That you're not talking about like a picture from the actual movie. This was just like a publicity
This is
shot.
a candid.
Yeah.
well, they used it as publicity, I think, but basically, no, we were shooting the scene. There was a photographer on set. Something funny occurred. I won't go into detail about what that was, or rather, I won't repeat what Carrie said. Carrie which is legendary. And something,
Alan, I have to stop you for a second. Can you give just a glimpse of what was it something vulgar that she said? Is that why you don't want to repeat it?
I can tell the exact story, but it's in my book. I've written the first draft of a book, and it was so difficult to get her back together again, you know. But she eventually got herself back together, and but a photographer on set captured that, you know.
That is incredible. I won't press you anymore, obviously, on what was said, but I will ask you when the book is published and it's out, maybe we can have another chat and you can tell the story then. I'll hold you to that. The Stormtroopers play a pretty pivotal part in that scene where Han Solo gets put into carbonite. A very emotional scene for the audience and whatnot. Are you in that scene there as well then?
Yeah, it's myself and John Margridge that actually, you know, place Han in the carbonite. We'd been working on the film for quite some time by this time. It started in March and this was shot in July of '79. Roy Button came over to us and said, you know, do you two feel confident to do this? Talked us through what was needed. And we felt, fine, we'll go for it. And,
when you say he talked to you about what was needed, what did he say? What was needed?
Alan, you're just behind Carrie. And we do the dialogue, you know, the I love you, I know, which Harrison's dialogue was different to that. He changed it on set, which is fine, and it works. It's an iconic scene.
I love you.
I know.
And Harrison, you know, trusted us, and we did it. Several takes, but we did it. We didn't. I think the biggest fear for both of us we would trip over or overshoot our mark. But you know, you learn how to do this stuff, and we pulled it off.
That's awesome, Alan. Thank you for sharing that with us. So if I remember correctly, the scene is like the two of them kiss, kind of almost for the first time. They have a little kiss in the Millennium Falcon, but this is like a real passionate kiss that they have. And then the two stormtroopers come and actually pull them away from the kiss. Are you one of the stormtroopers that are pulling them away from that kiss?
That was John and I. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Princess Leia says to Han Solo, I love you. And his response is, I know. You're saying that wasn't in the original script, that he kind of just ad-libbed that?
Yeah, I can't remember what the actual line was. I'm sure if you Google it, I've never bothered to Google it. But he did that line several times, and in typical Harrison Ford style, shortened it down to I know.
I know.
Alan, you said that you had taken, you had several takes on that scene, and was that the last take, the final take, where Harrison Ford said "I know," and that's what they ended up using, or did he say "I know" multiple times in multiple takes?
Once he just changed the line to, or shortened the line to "I know." Well, you know, I kind of like that.
And then you talked about this friendship that you ended up having with Harrison Ford. What was that relationship like, and did that span to anything else?
Well, the icebreaker was that, or a take, a scene with just myself and Harrison in one of the tunnels. And Harrison's pacing up and down. And I just said to Harrison, is it warm enough for you, Harrison? And he looked at me and said, kid, I'm sweating my balls off. That was the icebreaker.
Impressive.
You know, I did receive something in the mail from you. I have it here, and it is a Star Wars action figure in your likeness. How did it come about? Why did you decide to kind of come out with this custom-made Alan Austen Star Wars action figure?
Most impressive.
Well, it's just, you know, it's one of those things. I've got a Star Wars artist friend, Annie Salge, She's known as Sinteltex. So that picture came out of the photo shoot, and they've proved very, very popular. So a manufacturer, a toy manufacturer, he said, well, I've got this idea for an action figure, that I want to make of you and send it to you. So I said, yeah, okay, why not? Go ahead. And I was blown away with the results. So I said, well, okay, I'll order 10 and see if there's any interest in them. So there has been.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for allowing me to have one of these. I mean, this looks like something I would have found in the store. It's like the back, it's got like the full, like you collect them all in the back and some of the different vehicles. But I think most special to this is you actually autographed this for me. So thank you very much, Alan. This is a treasure that I will hold on to forever.
The snapshot of time that you've given us in this chat has been fantastic. And reliving these stories from your perspective as a young actor is what we are doing right here. And this has just been so interesting to both of us.
I think we're really getting the more genuine stories this side of things. And that's really what we appreciate. And so, again, this has just been fantastic for us. And thank you so much for having these stories to be able to share with us. Yes.
It's been a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
I always end, Alan, with "May the Force be with you," and sir, may the Force definitely be with you always.
The Force will be with you always.
Wow, that was just incredible talking to Alan Austen, hearing all of those crazy, crazy stories.
Crazy, so amazing stories.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe he had this, he built this rapport with, Mark and Harrison and Carrie. I mean, that's insane. I want to know what's in his book about what Carrie Fisher was.
We're all going to have to wait
about.
for that book, find out what she was laughing about, what she said that tickled everyone's bone. Really a great conversation we had with Alan. Thank you so much, Alan, for doing this. If you want to go and get any of this merchandise that Alan has, including one of these action figures, I'll leave all of his information in the description below. You can see all of that. Not only did I get this action figure, but he sent me this plaque, on a piece of aluminum with his signature on there.
I thought it was just a paper card, but this is a real aluminum, card.
It's got weight to it.
It's good heft
really
and
amazing.
I love it just looks really cool and
certificate of
official.
authenticity for the action figure. Each one is numbered. Cool. I've got number 35 out of 40 here. And just an array of different things that you can get with Alan. If you just want to say hello to the gentleman, you can do that there too. Just amazing, amazing stories that Alan told us. But right now, I'd like everyone to go ahead and subscribe to this channel.
Like us, comment down below if you have a question, another question that we should have asked Alan and you want to ask him, to let us know.
Do all the little things that they ask you to do on YouTube. Help us spread the fun. But for now, I'm Jack, this is DB, this is Alan.
Alan Austen's Star Wars saga, we did it.
JAK in the box.
Be sure to subscribe and binge watch all of our episodes. Thanks for tuning in to JAK in the Box.